Personally, I feel sorry for the people that didn't come, and I'm really grateful for you for coming. And I think you're going to enjoy this talk because it's a humdinger. I want to talk about Wayne Dyer for a minute because he had a central role in this Anita Moorjani adventure. When he met Anita, he realized she had an intuitive understanding of the spiritual principles that he had worked so assiduously to explain for many decades to people. He worked hard to get her story to the world because of that. Here is Wayne Dyer's foreword to her book, Dying to Be Me. I have been deeply and profoundly touched by the contents of this book. So I encourage you to get it and read it. There's a lot more in it than I could put in here in a short précis. But I think I've got the essence. For more than 4 years, Anita fought advanced cancer to death's door and then beyond to a near-death experience. So it's quite a story. It goes all the way out and back again. Anita lay in a deep coma. She died, but went into a near-death experience. On the other side, she was given the opportunity to return to her cancer-ravaged body. And it was really ravaged. Organs had shut down, everything had shut down. The doctors just thought there's not even a question of any hope for her. She was able to report to all of us what life on the other side looked like, and more important, felt like. She had many magnificent experiences, and here are some of them. She experienced an incredible healing, because she came from that state that I was just telling you about, where everything was just down. And she says healing came through unconditional love when she got back. She saw all of us. She saw all of us in the world, every one of us, as magnificent. She got the idea of magnificence. This is your soul part. You got a speck of the soul inside of you that we call our soul part. And it is, of course, God, and it's magnificent. She lived as a being of light and love when she got that. And when we get it, we'll be there too. She felt that oneness is real, not just something you talk about or some precept of religion. She realized that everything is truly happening all at once in the universe. What does that sound like? That's quantum physics. Scientists have worked on that for years and years, and they came to that conclusion, and she had it in a moment. She understood that. She deeply realized that the meaning of the words of Jesus, with all things, with God, all things are possible. That's our song. All things are possible. And they really were when you think about what she went through and how she came back and she healed to a perfectly healthy person again. Wayne Dyer's family, who read about her near-death experience, felt that they had a new lease on life. Of course, they were very close to it because it was all in the family. They were talking about it, and better than us, but let's try to grapple and get a feel with that. Just like Wayne Dyer's telling us about it. They vowed to love themselves after they heard this, to treasure their magnificence, as we all should, and to banish all diseased thoughts. I'm going to go into Dying to Be Me through Anita's own words. But before I do, I want to tell you a little bit about her. Before we tell the story, you should know that she was raised multiculturally. She lived in many different cultures that were disparate and was familiar with a wide range of healing methods. Western medicine was unsuccessful with her. Not that she hadn't given it a good try. She didn't let go of it till the last minute, but doctors realized that she was beyond hope. During my 4-year battle with cancer, she said, I tried many things. Praying, that usually works. Meditation, energy healing, forgiveness therapy. I forgave everybody in my life, everything. I consulted Buddhist monks, Indian yogis. She went all across India, and enlightened masters, also hoping that they'd help me find answers to what would lead to healing. I also tried vegan meditation, mountaintop meditation, yoga, chakra balancing, Chinese herbal medicine, prana healing, and others. She did it all, but it didn't work. However, my cancer continued to worsen. I suffered with great terror. I was hanging on with my fingernails. That was the space she was in. I asked God, why aren't I getting any help? When it finally became too difficult to hang on, I surrendered. You remember that word? We've had a couple of talks about surrender. It's big. Surrender is big. I was tired. I knew that the next step was death. Anything was better than this. And I went into a coma. Very sad story. She ended up on the other side. My body was shut down. I had nothing more to give. I surrendered. Take me. Have your way. It was then that I instinctively understood that I was dying because of my fears. And we'll get back to that here, because that's an integral part of this story. Fear is very bad for us. I had forsaken myself. I wasn't expressing my true being because my worries were preventing me from doing so. I wasn't allowing myself to express the magnificent force that I was meant to be. And we're all meant to be. Then my space expanded, and I realized how harshly I had treated myself and judged myself throughout my life. So she's getting a lot of ahas here, going into a near-death experience. I finally understood that it was me. It was me I hadn't forgiven. You have to forgive yourself first. I didn't love myself enough. Do most of us love ourselves enough? I see so many where there's not enough love given to, lots of us will be very loving to other people, very kind, but we don't know how to do that for ourselves. Fortunately, I began to see myself as a child of the universe. I realized that we are all subject to unconditional love. We were born here and we came in a package wrapped in unconditional love. When we were born, I realized that I didn't have to do anything to deserve this love. Nothing. You don't have to pray. You don't have to beg. You are unconditionally loved by God in this universe. And I'll show you why. I saw that I never loved myself, valued myself, or saw the beauty of my own soul. Yeah, we've got to learn how to do that. We've got to practice that. My unconditional magnificence must have been there, because it's there for everyone. It seemed like physical life had somehow filtered it out. And how many of us does that happen to? This understanding made me realize that I and everyone else have access to magnificence. I made a powerful choice and was given the opportunity to go back to planet Earth. It takes two there. You have to want to go back, and you have to have God's permission. I woke up in my body. This body that was just almost a lump of clay. My magnificent self had decided to continue to live and express through the body to that wretch of a body now. So nothing in this world could affect the decision. I finally let my spirit shine through with damaging thoughts out of the way. We have to put damaging thoughts out of the way right at the beginning, all the time. I was pure consciousness. I call it my magnificence. I love that. I love that word, the way she says it. So if you ask me, he says, it was my beliefs that caused me to heal, I'll just say no, it wasn't. My near-death experience was a state of pure awareness, which is a state of complete suspension of all previously held doctrine and dogma. I allowed my body to reset itself. When I experienced death, I finally realized that it was not my time to die. And I had to embrace uncertainty. I said to myself when I read that, where have I heard this before? Oh yes, it was Deepak Chopra's book, How to Know God. He talked about embracing uncertainty. Well, I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. I really didn't. I went on, that was a few years ago. Now I read her stuff in detail, and I understood it without a question, what that's about, embracing uncertainty. This opened us up to all possibilities, just like the song says. She said, I'm at my strongest when I am able to let go. I now suspend my beliefs as well as my disbeliefs and leave myself open to all possibilities. Isn't that an interesting philosophy? That is when I'm capable of experiencing the most internal clarity and synchronicity. And boy, do we need those if we want to have guidance, if we want to be on the right track. It seems like the very act of needing certainty is a hindrance to experiencing great levels of awareness. You can't want it too much. It's like when you want to be enlightened. You can't want enlightenment too much. You just got to live it and let life be it. It seemed to me the process of letting go and releasing all attachment to my belief or outcomes is cathartic and healing. And she's right. It is cathartic and it is healing. I also found that I must trust and let go of the need to be healed. You have to trust that it's going to happen. Always believe. And just enjoy and trust in the ride that is life. It's funny, it's kind of an enigma. There's two sides to it. You want to go there, but at the same time, you can't wish it too much. You just got to be at peace and let it happen for you. We'll pick that up. We'll figure it out. Here's another intuitive experience that I had, she said. One of the best kept secrets of our time is the importance of self-love. The importance of self-love. People cringe when you say that to them. They think, what kind of an ego head is this? But I can't stress enough how important it is to cultivate a deep love affair with yourself. You have to fall deeply in love with yourself. I've commonly thought of it as being selfish, but my near-death experience allowed me to realize that it was the key, absolutely the key to my healing. My near-death experience state, I realized that the entire universe is composed of unconditional love. Like I had said in the beginning, you come here with that package. I'm an expression of this, she said. Every atom, molecule, quark is made of love. There we are, back to quantum physics. And she was privy to all that because she had suffered and she was down. She was just as good as dead for like a doornail forever. But she came back. I can be nothing else because this is my essence and the nature of the entire universe, she said. In fact, universal life force energy is love, and I'm composed of universal energy. Realizing this made me understand that I didn't have to try to become anything, nothing else, in order to be worthy. I already am all that I could attempt to be. You're there already, kids. When we know we are loved, we don't need to work at being loving. Instead, we just have to be true to ourselves, and we become instruments of loving energy, which touches everyone who come into contact with us. That's a nice way to travel through this world for the rest of our life. Please, think about all these things. Being love also means being aware of the importance of nurturing my soul, taking care of yourself, your own needs, and not putting yourself last at all times. If you were your best friend, you wouldn't treat yourself like that. You'd put yourself first, like you would do for your best friend. That's when you're really expressing your love. I see my opportunities to experience and to learn with unconditional love. She says she sees that now. Selfishness comes from lack of self-love. It's not the other way around. Au contraire, mon petit chou. Au contraire. Our planet is suffering with this, along with too much insecurity, judgment, and conditioning. In order to care for someone's unconditionally, I have to feel that way about myself. In other words, I can't give away what I don't have. You got to love yourself before you can start really loving other people without putting on an act, but just feeling it and letting it radiate out from you. They automatically are getting my love when I'm in the space and being my true self. In light of all this, I've learned that it's important to not be too hard on myself. Yeah, understatement of the year. When I stop being my own worst enemy and I start loving myself more, I automatically have less and less friction with the world around me. In other words, there's a better world out there for you as soon as you do this. It sounds like this is tough, but no, it isn't. It's just going to make everything easy for you. I become more tolerant and accepting. If you fight with yourself about being tolerant and accepting, you don't have to. Once you get this, you've got it. When we each feel our individual magnificence, we don't have to feel the need to control others. And we won't allow others to control us. So you see how smooth everything gets? I awoke to my infinite self, she said. I was amazed to understand that my life could be dramatically different just by realizing that I am love. And I always have been love. And that's the way the universe is put together. I don't have to do anything to deserve it. So now we come to the crux of the whole matter and the finishing statement here. Realizing that I am love was the most important lesson I learned in this whole experience that she had. And it was really a really tough one. It allowed me to let go of all fear. That was key. That was the key that saved my life, she said. This was a real miracle, kids. And she had to go through that miracle in order to really understand these things that we talked about today. Well, I thank you all for coming. I've got so much out of this. I have to thank you for being here because you gave me the opportunity to do this. Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. I've had this in my library for a while, but I really didn't get it completely until I got into it in detail like this. But thank you, thank you, thank you.